Hello everyone, my name is Yasmin and I'm working as a research associate at Windsor University and an instructor at McMaster University in Canada. I'm a certified PMP and I had PhD from McMaster University and I taught lots of courses related to project management and manufacturing. So I welcome you all to PMP training course, and today I'm here to give you a quick overview of the PMP certification full course. So PMP certification is known as the golden standard in the field of project management. It's one of the most important certification by mid-level professionals who are looking for a major boost in their career. For this reason, we bring you this free PMP full course. The course is divided into 7 classes, so one class every Tuesday. I already shared the materials for this course on Facebook page, on Easy Learning page. So please follow the page as all the classes will be recorded and shared through the Facebook page. So you can see the link of Facebook page and course material in the chat box. Okay, guys? So without much ado, let's get started. So please make sure your mic and your camera are off, and if you have any question, please write your question in the chat box or raise your hand. Okay. For today we are going to talk about few items. First, we will understand what is PMP certification, why we do PMP certification. I'm sure you must have this kind of question in your mind, so I will try to answer those questions in today's sessions. Also, what are the advantages when you will do PMP certification over the people who haven't done, right? We will talk a little bit about project management framework as well, and also since you all have decided to appear for the PMP certification examination, then what is this exam is all about, what is the nature of the exam, and a bit more on the PMP examination. So let's get started with this first. Okay. We will talk about what is PMP certification. So if you see PMP certification, PMP is introduced by BMI, which is Project Management Institute. It is very old institute and it's a globally recognized institute. When you appear for the PMP certification, you will definitely need to refer to one book, which is Project Management Book of Knowledge, and in short we call it as PMBOK. Okay, the current edition of the PMBOK that is being used for the examination preparation is 7th edition, which was already introduced in January 2021. And the new examination is based on the 7th edition of the PMBOK. Now, PMBOK is basically the book of knowledge, so it is divided into different process, best practice, terminologies, guidelines in the area of project management. So there are around 49 processes. There are certain best practice. When you perform a certain process, there are tools and techniques that are recommended at the same time. There are certain terminologies that we need to understand as well. So what is that book which we can refer to when we come across any term within the area of project management, or where will I find certain guidelines when I am working in the project management area? Project Management Institute is basically a non-profit professional membership association, Now this is for all the project management professional across different countries, and therefore you will find project management institute very active institute. You will find BMI does lots of things in the area of project management, right? From the competition to project and the program to organize the seminars and the conference and lots of research work, and that's done in the area of project management. BMI is such institute which keep on upgrading the knowledge and the best practice in the area of project management. BMI is offering lots of certifications like PMP, CABM, BGBMB, BFMB, BMI, ACB, BMI SP, or BMI RMIB. We all are here today because we are interested in PMB. So what is PMB? PMB stands for Project Management Professional. So PMB is a very acknowledged professional certification. If you have the proof that you have the relevant experience and you have the relevant education, you are qualified to apply for a PMB certification. Now, why you should be doing PMB certification? So let's just talk about few reasons here. First reason is about it's important for employment, right? So if the company you are working in the moment knows that you're doing PMB certification, I believe you can actually negotiate your salary hikes. You can actually think about getting into some job where project management skills and knowledge it is required, and that's maybe the next level, that's maybe elevation for you. So it is definitely significant for employment. Part from that is a golden standard for project management certification. As I mentioned, this is going to be one of the most important certifications, so it is a golden standard in the area of project management. If you are working, definitely I have seen many job descriptions mentioning that PMP certified, so they are looking out for project management who is certified PMP. Apart from that, it also gives you freedom to work in any industry across the globe. Now, when you work in project management area, so even if you belong to any domain or belong to any technology, that most things is you get the opportunity to work across domains and across technology, because we are talking about project management skills. And the knowledge over here, which is irrespective of the domain knowledge and the technology knowledge. Of course, if you have the domain and technology knowledge in the respective areas, that will give you more advantage. But even if it is not definitely the project management skills and knowledge will help you in the working across globe and in any industry that you aspire to work. So there are some of the benefits that I have experienced myself at the same time. And I'm sure you can look forward to some of this benefit as well of the PMP certification. Let's talk about some specific advantage that we can look out. Okay. For the first thing that I have already mentioned is definitely the salary hike. When you complete your PMP certification, first thing I have seen in many companies, remember the cost. So anyway, that is in itself is high. Companies investing on you, and when you complete the certification successfully, you cannot only reimburse the cost of the certification in many organizations, but also I have seen people negotiating for good salary hikes during their appraisal. It also improves performance. This is very important from your career point of view as well. So if you are working in project management, not necessary as a project manager, you could be working into any of the domains. As within the project management, which is absolutely fine, but the moment you complete your PMP certification, it will give you width of knowledge, at the same time depth of knowledge into specific area and domains, as a result of which when you start applying some of these tools and techniques that you have learned out of the study. So let's take example of the estimation. So we'll talk about different estimation techniques as a part of the PMP training course. You will study some of this estimation like parametric estimation, bottom-up estimation. When you go back, when you complete the certification while you're studying even for the certification, one of the things that I would also recommend is go back and start applying some of these techniques and tools that you have learned in the PMP training on your project. So that will also improve your performance. That will also make you smarter than the other associates with whom you are working, or your peers or your colleagues, and that will definitely give you edge over them. As well, apart from that, this will give you an opportunity to expand market reach. So as I mentioned, you can actually, once you complete your PMP certification, you can go beyond your industry and domains, and the location is not a constraint at the same time, because this is globally recognized certification. So even if you wanted to work in a specific area, you always want to do work, or you are aspire to work in this specific area of your choice. Also, PMP certification will help you getting through the interview process. So when there are two people for the interview in the project management, if somebody is PMP certified, I'm sure that person always will be preferred than somebody who is not certified. And you must have also read yourself many times that whenever you appear for PMP certification, when you want to really get into this area, then when you try and apply for these jobs, when you read the job description, you will find that many times they mention that we are looking out for a project manager with PMP certified. So you could see many advantages of PMP certification. Over here, moving on to the project management framework. Now let's talk a bit about project management. Of course, in the training we will talk about project management. As far as the framework is concerned, we will be talking about different things, but for now, as the session is more like a high-level introduction session, I'm just going to touch base on the project management framework. So if you see project management, you will find that as far as PMI is concerned, what PMI has done is that there are different process groups that are defined as a part of PMBOK guide. So you will find there are 5 process groups which are there as a part of the framework. So first is, as you see, initiating process, then we have planning process, then we have executing process, closing process, and there is a continuous monitoring and controlling process happen. So whenever we work on any project, you take example of any project, typically what happens. So if you are into, let's say, software projects and you want to give customer a digital experience, okay, so you decided to digitalize all the possible opportunities that you would get with within your area. Um, so what you do, decide to put or create multiple phases in order to complete this project. So you start right from the visibility study, right? So whether it is possible to do it, first of all, and the moment you get confirmation of that, then you get into a sort of, maybe you create a business case. You will create a benefit management plan, and once it is in place on approved, then you start working with the project phases. So you will come up with different project phases, right, from initiating a project to gathering requirements or doing analysis or design, then you build it, then you test it, and then you deploy it. So there are different phases. Now, as for the project management framework, this process group will fall under each and every phases. So when you enter a phase, like for example, when you enter a phase, let's say called the analysis, so you have a list of requirements that you gathered for digitizing the different things that you could digitize within your area. Then you enter into a phase, which is analysis phase. Then what you do, you initiate the analysis phase. That means you think about what I need to do as a part of analysis, which is going to be my whole approach. Okay, so you initiate that, you kind of get yourself ready, and once you do that, you start the planning. Okay, so what all things are supposed to be doing within this analysis phase, so creating the high level design and low level design. That could be some of my deliverables that I can think of, and then I execute the plan that I have prepared. And once the execution is completed, then you close the process. But throughout this, what I also do is doing the analysis phase. I also ensure that whatever the activities that I am performing, whether those are as a part of the plan that I have created or not, so that continuous monitoring has to be done. And therefore, monitoring and controlling is a part of the analysis phase in this example. Similarly, this is going to be a part of each and every phase. So even if you move on to the next phase, which is, let's say, creating design, all right, so that's where we talked about the high level and low level design, which could be done. Then you execute the plan, you monitor, you control, and once the phase is completed, you close it. So the exit out of that phase, and whenever you exit out of that phase, you always have certain output. Okay, to sum up here, for any project we have 5 phases, right? We have initiating, then planning, then executing, then monitoring and controlling, and finally closing. From PMBOK point of view, we have around 49 processes, and there are 10 knowledge areas. So as you can see here, the knowledge area like stakeholder management or project integration management, scope management, time management, schedule management, cost management, quality management, human resource management, communication management, procurement, management and risk management. There are 10 of them, and each of this knowledge area you'll find there are different processes. Okay, let's talk a quick one example. Let's say project integration management. So when you work on project, you perform different activities. So one of the important process should be integration. How are you going to integrate those activities so that we can show the progress of the project as one project? So for that, what do I have to do? First thing is done as a part of the project integration management is creating a project charter. So when we start working on the project sponsor will hand over the project charter to the project management, and then that's how the project manager is empowered to kickstart the project work and also authorized to use the resources on the project. The other could be develop project management plan. So once we have a project charter in place, then we start working on creating a plan. So that plan would include lots of other plans. Okay. How are we going to do quality management? How are we going to do scope management? How are we going to do schedule management? So there are the subsidiary management plan, which is then are built into the project management plan. Then we have direct and managed project work. So this is where we actually start working on the project, and then we will have to also manage the different project activities that we are performing while doing that. We also have to monitor and to control the project work and keep on checking, so we always take corrective and preventive action. We will cover this as a part of this training. Next thing is we perform the integrated change control because while working on the project is not a smooth sailing experience, right? You may have experienced yourself many times change come even towards late in the project, and we need to respond to that change. Otherwise, there could be a customer dissatisfaction. So this is a bit sensitive. So how to go about training, managing that change effectively? So we need to set up change control boards. So how does that work? This is going to be covered as a part of this. And once we do it, then we will have to perform the project closer activities. So this is how the different process will fall into this knowledge area, which is integration management process. Similarly, all this 49 process will be covered as a part of this training, and under each and every process we are actually going to talk about what are the inputs, what are the tools and techniques that I am supposed to be using, and what is should I expect by the end of this process. So this training cover in a very comprehensive fashion all this process, and we will be doing deep dive into inputs, tools, techniques, and outs. Also, we will also be taking lots of quiz and questions. So this question will give you an idea about what kind of question are asked in the PMP examination. Okay? So let's talk now about PMP exam. We have certain things here to be considered. First is the education. Another thing is the experience. So if you are a high school diploma holder or maybe any associated degree, um, which is global equivalent, then the expectation is in it, which is of course going to be around 60 months, right? The expectation is you need to have experience of around 7,500 hours into project management. Now that could be from any of the project management domains and not necessary from the project management as a whole, okay? As far as the role is concerned, you could be playing any role. If you are a bachelor degree holder or any global equivalent, then you are expected to have the experience of 4,500 hours to project management. So that's the experience required if in case you are the bachelor degree holder now. In both the cases, what is expected is 35 contact hours to get uh, the 35 hours. So you need to have to take a course in project management. You can take this course through any university or any institute. Once you have the education and you have the experience, you can apply for the exam. There are a few things that we have to remember, okay? Remember while filling out the application form, when you put down your experience, ensure that the experience is not overlapping. So if it is for 5,500 hours of experience that you are putting in the application, that experience in the project should be during the last 8 years, and that should be non-overlap. This is very, very important, okay? Approximately 20% of the application are picked up under random audit for the random audit check, okay? Another important question which come to many people's mind is that experience of 4,500 hours should be as a project manager. The answer that the experience can be from any of the project management domain, okay, or any of the project management area that you have worked. So if you take example of a software project, you may be a tester and you are doing only testing, but you are a part of the project, even that experience is valid. Or you may be just a developer, or you are not really a project manager, but still that experience of as developer is going to be considered, okay, because you are a part of the project. So it's fine if even if you don't have experience by the title project management, since you participated in the project management by performing the different activities days, and of course you were also a part of that project and responsible for the deliverable of the project. Whatever the deliverable you are working on, that experience is also considered, okay? um, Now exam fees are different from the BMI member and the non-member. I would recommend you go for the membership because membership would have its own advantage. In the exam also there are two options. You can take exam in the center or you can take it through your laptop. I would advise you to test it in the center, so you will not be nervous about the internet connection, and sometimes the examiners feel you are cheating when you are like talking to yourself. So to be in safe side, I recommend center, but at the same time places in the center is limited, so you have to book the exam 2 or 3 weeks before the exam, okay? If you put together the BMI membership fee and the members fee for the certification, If then you will find that the total comes to be less, and the advantage here is that you will get BMI membership, which means you can get an access to whatever is happening in the area of project management, and the different things that project BMI keep doing. You will get the PMBOK soft copy, which is also free of cost. So that is another benefit here. Okay. Now for the members of TRIs is concerned, there are only 3 to be, so that's within a year. So you have like 3 trials for the exam within 1 year. Okay, so even if you must retake the exam, you can take it within a year. Okay. How is the exam pattern? Okay, it's around 230 minutes exam. So I would strongly recommend you, before you go for the PMP examination, at least 2 times you complete full time 180 question mock test. So so that you at least be able to practice for sitting 4 hours, because that is something really important. Exam is conducted in a proper barometric center. There are around 180 questions. Out of that, like 25 are pre-test questions. So this will not be considered for the score. However, you will not know which are those 25 questions. For that reason, you will have to bear for all these 180 questions. Once you finish the exam, you can log into your BMI account and see your results. Okay, you succeed or not. So it's something looks like this one. So what you have here, you have your project management professional. This is your BMI ID number. Okay, what's the time you did your exam? Okay, and here you will find your overall score, so your pass or fail. Okay, for passing you have like 4 categories here. From here, which is a need improvement and below target, you are falling, but if you are within target and above target, you are passing. Okay, so you will have these results. You can see where you are. You are here, so you are above target, or you are here, you are in the target. Okay, and also you'll find here your performance, so it will give you indication how you are performing for the 5 process: initiating, planning, executing, monitoring, controlling, and closing. So for example, you are above target for all process, or just above target for initiating, and here you are just target and you just here, and so on. Okay, what matter you have, you should be in target or above target. Okay, you are above target or target, still you are passing, so it doesn't matter you are target or above target. The most important point here, you should be within target or above target. Okay, if you are here or here, so you failed and you have to repeat the test within 1 year. Okay, okay, so once you are passed, okay, you will be certified for 3 years. For example, if you pass today, 2022, so you have access, or you are certified from 2022 to 2025. Okay, after 3 years, you need to renew the certificate by gaining 60 BDU. What I mean by BDU, I mean professional development units. Okay, I will show you how you can gain this 60 BDU for free at the end of this course. Okay, so it's just like you're taking some seminars or listening to some videos, something very easy and free. no cost. Okay. Um, Starting January 2021, the exam is based on 7 editions. Project Management Book of Knowledge. Um, what are the changes that have been introduced in the 7th edition? How is different from the PMBOK 6? So let's get started. Okay. So the difference between 6th edition and 7th edition is very easy. For 6th edition, it just depends on 5 processes, as we mentioned before, like initiating, planning, monitoring, controlling, executing, and closing. It's just 5 domains, right? But now for 7th edition, we have 12 principles, which are team, stakeholder, value, system thinking, leadership, quality, complexity, change, tailoring, risk, and so on. Okay, so here we have 5 domains, here we have 12 principles. This is the difference between 6th edition and 7th edition. Okay. For 6th edition, we have 10 knowledge area, like integration, scope, cost, quality, resources, communication, procurement, risk, stakeholder, and so on. Okay, but for 7th edition, it's divided into 8 project performance domains, like project work, uncertainty, measurement, delivery, planning, team, stakeholder. Okay, so here we have 10 knowledge area, but here we have 8 project performance domain. Okay, if you compare between 6th edition and 7th edition, you will find here the difference only here. For example, for 6th edition, the standard for project management, this one, we have initiating, planning, executing, monitoring, controlling, and closing. But for 7th edition, the standard of project management here is different. Here we have some terminologies like teams, stakeholder, value, system thinking, quality, complexity, risk, and so on. Okay. Here for 6th edition, we have here the knowledge area, right? Like integration, scope, schedule, cost, quality, resources, communication, right? But here we have project performance domains like stakeholder, team, development, delivery, uncertainty, measurement. We have tailoring, we have models, we have methods, we have artifacts. Okay, this is the difference between 6th edition and 7th edition. Okay, now we are going to learn today about project management. What is project? And it's important for project management. We will also understand the relationship between project program and portfolio and operation management. The key components of project management, how to go about doing tailoring, and the most importantly, some of the project management business documentation. Okay. So what is a project? Project is a temporary endeavor which is undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result. So if you take any project, you will find or you will get some outcome, and that outcome is unique. Alright, so at the end of the project, what you will get may be a service, or you will get some result, but that is going to be unique. What you will create at the end of the project is unique. Apart from the project is a temporary endeavor, so you will always find one thing, that the project has a start date and end date. So project will be ended when you achieve the objective of the project, or sometimes it may happen that there is no funding available, or the project objective are absolute, or sometimes the project is terminated. There could be different scenarios that you may come across, but definitely another attribute which is also quality, or which is equally true, is a project is a unique. So you will always find that even so building that sometimes you see those are identical, but at least you will find some attributes which is unique to each building. So that means if you see put together everything here, you will find that projects are unique. There are temporary, and there are undertaking to create a unique product or a result. You can take example, for example, of IT project. If you are developing a product and that's a particular product development that you have undertaken is for a year period. Within that 1 year, you actually go through a different process of the project. You could have undertaken a visibility phase. Then you have done the analysis, then you have actually done the development, and then you have implemented. So you have gone through different phases in order to build that product. And by the end of 1 year, what you produce is that product which will be taken to the market, and then you will sell it. You will sell the product to the people. Okay, right? So that means in this example we have seen that what is unique is basically that's the product that you are producing, that's product. um, for any product, it could be one product, it could be 90 products that are producing, and the project that we have just said got has got a start date and end date, and we have got 1 year in between, and within that 1 year we are doing all the project phases activities and its unique product that we are producing at the end of the day as well, right? Which you can take it to the market. And so of course, as we go ahead, we will take multiple examples of the project as well. But from definition point of view, we need to just remember some of the keywords. That's from the PMBOK guide and from the PMP exam point of view. Okay. Project, of course, unique. Their temporary nature, and what we produce at the end of the project is a product or some results. Okay. Now, if you take the example of like project drive change, you will come across the project because they are initiated. You must be thinking about why projects are initiated. So sometimes projects are initiated to drive change, right? I have seen that organization undertaking big transformation. Those transformation projects are basically to drive change within the organization. I was part of such a transformation project, and the transformation project was about the agile transformation within organization. So it was like around 18 months project, and that has a start date and end date, and then lots of activities that have were undertaken as a part of this project. Project also could undertaken to enable business value creation, right? Now value could be tangible or intangible, that's fine, but what is the value and how the value is going to be generated in the business? It could be by launching a new product or new line of business, whatever that line of business that would like to enter into, and you are undertaking a project basically to enter into that new line of business, and that's going to added value, and that you can measure it. Okay, how you can measure that value? um, um, Obvious value could be measured in the form of the benefits that you are going to realize once the project or that product is in the market, right? So sometimes that value could be intangible by launching the product, service, or result, you will be able to achieve the customer's satisfaction. Sometimes not everything is measured in the form of value, right? So customer satisfaction can be measured in the form of value, but definitely when you achieve the customer satisfaction, you can generate more business out of the satisfied customer, and you can even do the cross-selling of the product. So that's the intangible benefit, which is difficult to measure, but there is definitely a benefit that we can show. So sometimes projects are undertaken just so that we achieve those intangible benefits. There are also projects which are initiated sometime to meet the regulatory requirement. I have worked on many regulatory projects. None of these projects were initiated so that we can fulfill the regulatory requirement of the customer. Alright, so for example, there are certain, like if you work in a banking industry, there are certain reports which need to be submitted to the regulator. Now an IT project is initiated, so these reports or these files are produced out of the data which is gathered from all the IT system across banks organization. It is a captive organization, and you get data from multiple systems, and then that data is used to prepare different reports which are then submitted to the government. So that means you initiate a program, or you initiate a project so that you can fulfill the requirements or legal or social requirement to satisfy the customer requests or needs. So sometimes product is already there and now you are getting the change requests. So we can make enhancement to the product that we are using. We also initiate the project so that we implement or exchange business, or sometimes technology is another exchange. Okay. So what is the importance of project management? So project management is all about applying the knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to able to meet the business objective, right? What are the business objectives that we or that you have visualized yourself? For that you have actually drawing, so those business activities will be achieved. So as I said, manufacturing of the cheapest car is that the strategic vision with which you have started the project. You achieve that business objective and satisfy a stakeholder expectation. So you will deal with a number of stakeholders on the project. Again, depending on the complexity of the project, so how would you satisfy the need of the stakeholder, the expectation of the stakeholder, the changes that you are requesting, so you will be able to do that if you do it effectively. And overall chances of success will go up. Most importantly, managing the constraints of project. You will be able to manage project constraint effectively if you have those skills and if you have that knowledge. Okay. And risk is another important key area. How do you manage risk? So if you will be able to learn to manage risk through the different tools and techniques that you will be covering as a part of this training. Delivering product on time is the key to success, the key to the successful of the project. As we always say, we have project constraint, of course. We will talk about those constraints. We need to keep on mind and ensure that we are delivering the project within those constraints of the project. when you begin working on the project, you will come across multiple changes from the stakeholders. So if you don't know how to manage changes, you will struggle to accommodate that change within the project that you are working on. And therefore, in order to effectively manage a project, you need to have the skills and tools and techniques. Okay. Also, controlling the project budget is very important. We come across some situations where the project manager land up paying more or land up spending more than how much is the budget given, or they could be compromising the quality of the outcome that is being produced, or they may be land up in doing lots of pre-work, and rework require lots of money, right? And all this leads to unsatisfied stakeholder for that matter. So therefore, project management is definitely very, very important. And for that reason, we need to learn the associated knowledge and the skills that are required to manage project effectively. And we need also to know what are the tools, techniques that are required, and most importantly, we need to be using the right tools and the right techniques at right time. Okay. Now, if you see project management as a methodology of each organization, I have seen they have done some sort of customization. It is not like that they may follow whatever we are going to talk about as it is. So there is going to be always customization. So templates, I have seen every organization will have their formats. If will have their own templates, there will be policies around how to manage vendor. There will be policies around how to go about doing the human resource management and so on. There will be a certain process over and above what we are going to cover, which are specific to the organization, as well as, and there are lots of guidance that are available as well. But most important thing is, when we talk about a methodology, we are talking about we should be able to plan project correctly, right? Monitor it correctly and control the project correctly, okay, within the organization. So from project management methodology point of view, there are some of the areas that are needed to be looked into, okay. Now let's move on to one of the most important points, which is about project constraint. Okay. If you ask me how the project management performance is judged, I would say it is based on how that project management is overall managing the constraint of the project. Because every project will have these constraints. When I am saying constraints, what does that mean? Okay, so there are 6 constraints that we are talked about. Okay, scope, time, cost, quality, risk, and the resources. Now there are constraints because if you change one, at least one other will get affected, right? If you increase the scope of the project, the cost might be go up, right? If you don't increase the costs, and if you are just increasing the scope, risk might be go up, and the quality might go down, right? And the same time, if you reduce the time, if you want something to be deployed early or finished early, we need to increase number of resources. If you don't increase number of resources, then it is going to the cost, right? You either you are not be able to complete the scope, or you will not be able to achieve the quality that is expected to be there. So you have to play around with this constraint. So effective project management would know how to deal with these constraints, and most importantly, if there is change to any of these constraints, it is important to go back and update the relevant documents that are being created. So could be a scope management, plan, risk management, or resource management plan. So we need to go back and update these documents as well. Um, if there is any change to the constraint, right? So from the point of view, these constraints are very, very important to manage. And this is constraint is to be managed from the point of view of the stakeholders. They should be satisfied, right? Because if the scope is not if not fulfilled, your stakeholder might not be then satisfied. So how can you deal with the scenario wherein you are behind the schedule? That means either you have to reduce the to reduce the scope, or you have to delay your project, or um, like delay your project by maybe a couple of weeks, or you are in such a situation, then how would you handle this situation? And that's where the project manager skills and knowledge will come into picture, right? So how can you go back to the stakeholder and understand the importance? um, is it scope delivering is important as it is, or is it the schedule that is important? Like when I was working on a project, so from the point of view of the project, important was delivering it within the time, because the time is very, very important. Otherwise your company might be fined, you will have to pay the regular, right? So what is important here is to understand how you can make use of these constraints to the best of your knowledge, and go back and negotiate with the stakeholder. All right, so I have now made it clear the most important thing, how to deal with project constraints. And we will talk about now the project program portfolio, and then OPM as well. So talking about the project and strategic planning, so typically what happens if you talk about a program, it is always made up of multiple projects, and portfolio would have a project and the program put together, and then that's how lately everything is aligned with the organization goals, objective, or whatever the strategic plan that is created. So I'll give you the example of you want to manufacturing um, a sheep's cars. That is a vision, a high level strategic plan that is created. Then you then you might need to run multiple such programs, and the project, because it is a complex project altogether, right? You will have to learn run multiple projects, and this program would include lots of components. Okay, so component could be a vendor management activities that need to be separately handled. It could be active days. We are in establishing a plan where this assembly line, for example, where this car would be manufactured, or for that matter, there could be another component altogether in order to source the materials that is required in the costs that we are looking out for that another component. So based on these components, then you would um, form different projects within this itself. What setting up the assembly line could be a project in itself, right? So procuring the material, right, or sourcing the windows to procure the materials just in time could be another project in itself. So that's typically happens. You have some strategy guideline, you have some strategic vision or a plan for that matter that triggers different projects and the program. And then all this become a part of the portfolio. The most important thing is you need to categorize this program. So for example, you have the program which are a similar kind of a project should be a part of that program. Of course, we will take example as we go ahead, but portfolio management aligns with portfolios. At the portfolio level, what we are basically deciding is that you are maybe strategic plan. You are planning to put up a new line of business in the organization. So strategically, that's what you have decided. You have could run a market research project for that. Okay, would be really visible to go ahead and set up a new line of business altogether. So you are doing a market research activity, which is a separate project in itself. Now, if you see the kind of program that I might need to create under this portfolio will be marketing, okay? So here I am setting up a new line of business. I need to think about how I am going to market that. Then I would also need to think about the application development as a separate component altogether. Then content development would be there. So I would run these three different programs, and under these three different programs there could be multiple projects running, like under marketing. I would also have a product launch as a separate project altogether. Okay, so all together, all the activities that are pretending to product launch would then be carried out under this project, or new market development would be another project in itself. So this couple of projects, which are related projects, which are in a link project, would then be clubbed with this component, which is marketing as a program similarly. For the application development, I would look into different things as well. Like for example, I would think about a web application, Android and iOS based application as well. So there I would club this related project under this program, which is application development. So this will actually ensure when I complete all these three projects, I will be able to complete the application development program as a whole. Similarly, in case of content development. This is just one example, one representation. You could do it multiple ways as well. There are multiple ways to do that, but this is one way which will give me a better visibility, better opportunity to establish a proper governance at the portfolio level, and thereby control what is going on in each of these projects in the program. If we talk about operations, operation will focus more on the ongoing activities, and operations will come into a picture. Okay, once the application is built and it is launched, then the operation will come into a picture, and then you are actually working within the project itself or program. So projects in operation may intersect. That is very important to understand actually. So we have seen a project now, we have seen operation as well. Operation will come into picture once you launch the product or a service into market, and then you start supporting that, then you start making enhancements, or then you start supporting the customers and so on. So what is important here is that the operations team will take the full control. Okay. A portfolio is typically at a strategic level. So this is where the collection of project or program happen. We have just taken one example here, and there are basically grouped together so that we can facilitate them effectively. Um, from overall governance and management point of view, which will ultimately help in achieving the strategic objective. So in earlier example, the strategic objective was to launch a new line of business. So that how it is program is where we collect the project together, and there are definitely interrelated or sometimes there are interdependent as well. But most importantly, most important thing here, the obtained benefit which are not available from individual component. So if you see only the web application will not give as much benefit as even when you added the Android application or iOS. So when they put together, then application development as a program will deliver much more benefits. Multiple interrelated projects need to be run parallel. So sometimes there are done parallelism times. There are also depend, right? So they could be run in a series or they could be run in parallel. Okay. Um, Now projects that are generally depend on each other and serve a common outcome. So if you are see is that, let's say, class 1 and class 2, you could be a bit of dependency as well in terms of content. Okay, baselining or all delivering for that matter, or they could be a bit of dependency between what you are developing as a web application, and then Android and iOS. So generally that's what is observed within the project. So we need to ascertain what that dependency level, and we need to manage that dependency level effectively as well when you are working on project and program. Okay, so again, to sum up, what's the difference between project, program, and portfolio? So portfolio is upper level. So under portfolio you can have program and you can have a project. Okay, then we have the program. In the program you can have multiple projects. Okay, and then we have the project. Under portfolio you can have both. You can have program and the project together. For program you just have projects. Okay, so this is upper level, and then we have program, and then we have project. Okay, so we just covered up what is a project, program, and portfolio, and we understand the difference between the three terminologies. So now what about OPM, or organizational project management? OPM is specific to the organization. OPM is a framework where we talk about the project, program, and portfolio management. All this is integrated so that we can achieve the organization objective, and for that reason it is basically integrated. Okay, so do you have any question, guys? Now we will start take some examples of the PMP questions and take some answers and see how the question look like in the exam. Okay, the first question here, I will give you 1 minute. Just think about the answer, and in the chat box just write A or B or C or D or F. So this question, for example, which of the following a project? So you have the choice to select 3 answers. So you can select, for example, A, B, C, BCD, CDF, or ECF. Okay, so I will give you 1 minute, okay, to think about the answer and write the answer in the chat box. Okay. Okay, I see the answer in the chat box and good job, most of the answer are right. So let's see the right answer now. So the question here, which of the following a project? Okay, either developing corona vaccine, or it is monthly ongoing work to produce cars, or it will conduct research to develop a new manufacturing process, or it is daily work at factory, or it is construct a hotel. If you remember, we said that before, a project is something very unique, right? It's something very is like a temporary endeavor, right? Something very short, right? If you think about this, you can see, for example, develop corona vaccine, it would be a project, right? Um, if you think more, you can say, for example, conduct a research to develop a new manufacturing process. It's a project. We can say, for example, construct a hotel as a project. So you are right. So you are right. The answer could be A or C or F. Okay, another question here. Which of the following is a result of effective project management? Okay, you have here to select two answers. So E or B, B and C, or C and D, or E and C, and so on. So which of the following is a result of effective project management? Okay, I will give you 1 more minute. Okay, think about the answer and write your answer in the chat box, and we'll discuss later. Okay. Okay, so if you think about the answer, it asks you about effective. Okay, effective means successful project management. So let's see the answer here. For example, he said meet business objective. Yeah, it could be right. Yeah, increase chances of success. Yeah, it could be. Yes, rework for sure not. If I make rework, so it will not be effective. So this is wrong. D, loss of reputation about the organization, for sure not. So for sure the right answer will be A and B. So these are make sense answers. Okay. Question number 3. Um, your 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 sponsor mentions that the project must be completed within 6 months and should be not exceed $50,000. You should consider this as. So now the question could be A or B or C or D. He in this question give you any answer, so it should be one answers, A or B or C or D. The previous question asked you to choose one or choose two or choose four. Here he didn't mention anything, so you have to choose only one answer. So I will give you also 1 minute here to think about the answer. Now the question. Your sponsor mentions that the project must be completed within 6 months. So we have time frame and should not exceed 50,000. So we have also limited cost, right? You should consider this as okay. 30 seconds guys and we'll come back. So yes, for sure, the right answer is D, project constraint. You remember when we are talking about project constraints? Project constraint can be scope, can be cost, could be time. Okay, so now he is talking about time frame, so this is time, and he was talking about the cost. So this $50,000 dollars and 6 months are constraints. This is the right answer. Okay, last question for today. Okay. Um, Here's the question. You are working with a couple of research associates to determine if implementing a Wi-Fi system in the neighborhood is going to be benefit the residents. As a part of this effort, you will be working with authorities to get related government documents. Also, you will do an extensive survey on how people will be using the system and create reports from the survey. What do you call this effort? You call it as a project or a research study or an operation or a survey. Okay, here as well you have to choose only one answer. If he asks you for 2 or 3 answers, he will let you know in between to bracket that you have to choose 2 answer or 3 answer. But here he didn't mention anything, so you have to choose only one answer. Okay, I will give you like 1 more minute. Okay, think about the question very well and answer. Okay. Okay, so the same. Good job guys, the most of the answer are right. Yeah, the answer here should be a project, right? Not operation, because operation means something is ongoing, something is continuous. But here you just do a short research and you have a specific result we will get at the end. So it should be a project, not operation. So the right answer is a project. Good job guys. Okay, thank you so much guys for attending today, and I hope to see you all next week. See you.